Hi, I'm Tiffany. Welcome to Towering TBR. I have just finished my first vlog for Eurovision, and if you missed it, check it out here. I will link it in the cards and in the description, but you'll probably want to watch that before you move on to the second vlog. I am reading The End of Loneliness by Benedict Wells for Germany. I'm going to predict Germany, let's see. I think Germany is probably not going to be on the left side of the board. So let's say I think it'll be maybe 14th place. But I really like the song and I'm really enjoying the book so far. So I read the first chapter a few days ago to see if I wanted to pick it up. And while I was instantly captivated by the language, there was a scene where an animal drowned. And I don't like when animals die in books. It's just something I really don't enjoy. However, the writing was so good that I decided to keep trying, and it's so much better now. I still think this is going to be a sad book. So we are following from Jules' perspective. He has two siblings, Liz and Marty, and they live in Germany. The parents die in a car accident, and the three children are sent to a boarding school. But it's not one of those like rich, fancy boarding schools. It's like a government care center, and they talk about how like they're always hungry, like they never get enough food, and just how displaced Jules feels because even though his siblings are at the boarding school, they're not all the same age, and seeing one another is actually not always easy. And then we find out that his sister drops out and runs away. And we don't know why, but he views it as abandonment. He's very upset by it. And yeah, I was really hoping that this sibling would have a really close bond, knowing that they're kind of the only family they have left. But currently, that's not really happening. Well, when we start out, Jules is 7, and he talks about some happy memories he has with his family. But as he gets older, I think he's 11 when his parents die and he has to go to boarding school. And yeah, I'm really interested to see where it's going to go next. I really like the writing. It instantly captivated me. And so I think this is a good start. I am hoping to get anywhere from 4 to 6 more countries in this vlog, and I will take you along with me. So these videos tend to be long, so make sure you get a drink and a snack. Make sure you like and subscribe, and that way you can see all my future videos, and I'll catch you up when I have more. So the boarding school setting was not very long. That was just kind of the beginning of the separation of the siblings, and they repeatedly come back to one another as they experience life events, and they do have this close bond that I was hoping that they would have. I'm giving this 4.5 stars, and that really surprised me because for a long time, I was really not connecting with the main character, Jules. I found him a little bit reprehensible, and he would do things that I just really didn't like him. And I know some people can like unlikable characters. They can enjoy stories, but I really struggle with that. And so the fact that this turned around and I literally was sobbing at the end of this book and feeling so much for the characters that, I think it's good. And I'm just surprised it took me as long as it did to connect with the characters, but I'm glad I did. One of the characters in here loves the book My Heart is a Lonely Hunter and references it. And I read that last year and, as you can see, had lots of thoughts on it. So I really liked that connection there. And I'm giving this 4.5 stars. I'm so glad I picked it up. And I'm glad I kept pushing through because I really wasn't sure how I was going to feel about this book. But ultimately, I rooted for the characters. I loved the connections and the relationships. I have so much more I want to say about it, but it would be spoilery. So read this book and then we can discuss it. Today is also my birthday, and thank you to my lovely in-laws for sending me some books for my birthday. I just wanted to show some of the books that I received. The first is The Evening Hour by Carter Sickles. I read this earlier this year, or maybe it was last year. I can't remember, but I absolutely loved it. I read this for my fiction book on the opioid crisis, and I did an F and Pair, which is a fiction nonfiction pairing about a similar topic. And I'm so glad I have a copy of this now because I can reread it whenever I feel like. This book is not in my library, so I had to get it via interlibrary loan, and so now I'm just really happy to have my own copy. I also got Give Me Space But Don't Go Far, which is a graphic memoir I read earlier this year and absolutely loved. The author, Haley, has anxiety, and the way she draws her anxiety and her coping strategies, I loved this. I felt so, I just became so enamored, and so I'm happy to have a copy. I have Solaris. This is, I think, a Russian science fiction classic, and I want to read more science fiction classics, and so I'm happy to have this one. I also got another John Wyndham. I'm collecting these specific editions because I love them so much. Let's see, what are they called? The Modern Library edition. So about the Kraken Wakes, I don't actually know what it's about, but it is classic sci-fi as well, and looking forward to it. And lastly, I got a classic Stoner by John Williams. This is a book that I keep seeing recommended on Reddit and BookTube, and so I'm just excited to try it. Everybody says like it's this like hidden gem modern classic, so I want to get in on the hype as well. Okay, so the next book I picked up was for France. It was called The Anomaly, and I'm drawing a blank on the author's name, so I will make sure to put it in here. I'm about 23% in, and I'm not exactly 100% sure where the story's going yet. There are so many characters that I'm having to make like little character trees to figure out what's going on. But it seems like several people were in a plane when it hit turbulence, and somehow that did some sort of schism. It changed their lives somehow. I don't know how yet. Each of the people who were on the plane, the FBI is showing up and trying to interview them. And I don't really know what's going on. But we have some very interesting characters. There's a contract killer. He's kind of like two people. He's a contract killer by his job. He has no moral qualms about killing people. He doesn't even know why. But then on the other hand, he's like this doting father of two and has his own business. And it's just, he's one of the characters that was on the plane. And I thought he sounds really fascinating. Yeah, I don't know where it's going, but if it doesn't pick up too soon, I may pick up a different French one because this is supposed to be a sci-fi thriller and it's not thrilling just yet. You know, if I would have given up on The End of Loneliness, I would have missed out. So I'm going to give it a little bit more, and we'll see how that goes. I have now finished The Anomaly for France, and I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. This just didn't work for me in the way that I was expecting. So I told you that we were following a lot of different characters, including a hitman, and I thought he was probably the most interesting character. They all took the same plane ride, and they were all affected by what happened. I went into this looking for a sci-fi thriller, but unfortunately, this was just not very thrilling. We follow a multitude of characters who have an event happen, and it's really more like a philosophical thinking, like, how would you react if you were put in this situation? And because my expectations were such a mismatch, I really didn't enjoy this book very much. I would still recommend it if you want to go into a more speculative, raising some questions, musing on how you might deal with this specific situation. It doesn't help that I haven't been feeling well, and when I don't feel well, I don't enjoy books as much. So I would still recommend it, but I would want you to adjust your expectations. I have now picked up my book for Austria. I'm reading The Wall by Marlene Haushofer, and this is a very slow-paced book. We are following a woman who is in the Austrian mountains. She's on vacation with one of her relatives, and the next morning, this woman wakes up and is completely cut off from society. There is an invisible wall cutting off where she is from everyone else. Because the wall is invisible, she can see like a person on the other side, and they look like they're kind of trapped in amber. They're kind of frozen in whatever position they were when this wall went down. So she is on her own and trying to survive with a cow, a dog, and a cat for company. And she writes in her journals basically what's going on and her survival in the hope that somebody somewhere is alive and might be able to hear her story. I really hope we get an explanation for the wall and why it came down and also why it killed everyone. And if they keep it in it's mysterious and it's just mostly her survival stuff, that will be interesting. I would really like to find out the cause of this. Was it aliens? Was it a secret government project that went awry? I don't know. But right now, it's just slow. She gets up and she takes care of the animals and she forages for survival and she tries to map out what areas are not trapped off by the wall. I feel like I should have probably picked a faster paced book, just based on my mood, but I am still enjoying it. So we'll see. Plus, Austria is my favorite song and the one I want to win. And so I really, really want to get points for Austria. So I'm not going to DNF. I'm going to keep going. Today is semifinal 1, and I will be able to watch that in about an hour. And I'm really excited. And I will come back and share my thoughts on who qualified and who didn't, and if I have any hot takes or unpopular opinions. All right. Happy Eurovision. Okay, so I have just finished watching the semifinal 1, and I was definitely surprised by some of the results. So I said that in my TBR that I really wanted Croatia to qualify, but I didn't think they would. And unfortunately, I was right. They did not qualify. I do think their performance was amazing, and they've definitely changed and added things since their first performance. And I just thought it was so, so good. And I was really sad that they did not go forward. I was also surprised by Portugal. I could not believe that they qualified. Their song is kind of just a folk song. It doesn't seem to really fit in Eurovision with the more Broadway style type, just bombastic and fun and silly. This was just kind of this low-key song. I think it's a fine song, if it were to come on the radio, but for it to qualify for Eurovision, it didn't kind of surprise me. It really surprised me. I was not expecting that. I literally gasped out loud when Iceland qualified. I was so excited for them. I look at the odds on Eurovision, even though I don't bet, and the bookies have placed Iceland at 36th out of 37th. And yeah, I had no expectation that they were going to qualify, and I'm so happy they did. They have a YouTube channel where they like to react with the other Eurovision songs, and they're just so adorable and charming and fun. So I'm so excited for them. The other country that surprised me was Poland. I really didn't want this song to qualify because while it is impressive that she can hold out her note for 20 or 30 seconds, it's crazy long. But the rest of the song is just kind of meh. It's a cool thing she can do. I didn't think the song really earned this spot. And I especially thought Croatia should have made it because, yeah. I'm not salty. I'm not. But you know who is? When the last country was announced, it was Ukraine, and I was fully expecting them to qualify. But the singer looked really pissed off. I don't know if he was just having a bad night or what. But when he found out he qualified to make it, he just looked so angry. So did you guys notice that? And do you guys have any theories? I was also surprised that neither Belgium nor Cyprus won. I like Cyprus's song. I thought it was pretty clever and the staging was cool. Belgium has never been my favorite, but it's very showmanship. It's a lot of strobe lights. It's a lot of like heavy beats. It's like a club song. And while I didn't really like it, I did think it was going to qualify, so it surprised me. Slovenia did not qualify. That didn't surprise me in the least. While I like the song, it again just doesn't really feel like it fits the vibe. Azerbaijan didn't qualify. I wasn't surprised by that. I think their song is fine if it just came on the radio, but yeah, I didn't think it was good enough. So that met my expectations. So I am even more excited for Thursday. I cannot wait. I've had a smile on my face all day. I love Eurovision so much. And I should get back to the books because I really want to make sure I get some more points for Eurovisionathon. So I will come back to you when I've read some more. Okay, so before I talk about the wall, I wanted to talk about semifinal 2 and some more shocking qualifications and disqualifications. I was utterly gobsmacked that Australia didn't qualify. I thought their song is lots of fun. I thought the staging was really good. His makeup, the outfits, just everything I really enjoyed. And I thought they would be an easy qualifier. Like I didn't even doubt it. So that's why it was so shocking. However, the other shocking disqualification was Czechia. If you saw my top 10 list, you know I put Czechia at number 4. I love their song Kiss Kiss Goodbye, and they didn't qualify. That was so unexpected, and honestly, I may or may not have yelled at the TV. That was not cool. However, because some of the better songs, in my opinion, got cut, there was also some shocking qualifications. Honestly, I was really surprised by Latvia, Lithuania, and Denmark. Lithuania, okay, I can kind of understand. It's a rock song. It's a little bit different. It kind of stands out. Okay, sure. Latvia really surprised me because while their costumes are cool and while the song is fine, it doesn't have broad appeal. And I honestly couldn't believe it went through. It is probably one of my least favorites. Denmark. Again, not only did it surprise me, it surprised her. If you looked at her reaction when she found out she qualified, she was just in utter disbelief, and I was too. She definitely is a great singer, and she has lots of stage presence, but I felt like her song was super duper generic. It was just so forgettable, and yeah, I was a bit bummed with that. All right. I am repping for Austria tonight. I am so excited. They are my number 1. And yeah, I can't wait to see how they do. I'll tell you about the books now. I have finished The Wall, and I think I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. We never do find out why the wall came down or who was behind it or anything like that. This is mostly a survival story. This woman just kind of surviving on her own in the mountains. And just seeing kind of a slice of life day by day, journal entries of, planting food or, siting hay for her cow or, going to neighbors' houses and kind of trying to see if they have anything that she could use for her survival. And, as just kind of a survival story, it's fine. It's interesting. However, I hated the ending. In our journal entries that we're reading, she is hinting at something bad happening, and we don't really know what until the end. And I hated it. It felt like it came out of nowhere. It felt super unexplained, and it left the ending quite open-ended, in my opinion, and I don't like that. I like finality. I like knowing what's going on, and yeah, this was not the book for me. I know lots of people like it, and that's cool. No judgment. It just didn't work for me. So that is going to be the last book that I read for Eurovision, as we've got the contest later tonight and I don't have time to squeeze in any more books. I had started my book for Australia, but when they didn't qualify, I just put it down. So that means I read 7 books for Eurovision. Some of them were great and some of them were duds. I think the 2 I enjoyed the most were The End of Loneliness by Benedict Wells and The Safekeep by Yael van der Wooden. Both of those I gave 4.5 stars and would definitely recommend. Who do you want to win the contest? Definitely let me know in the comments below. I will come back one last time to talk about the results and also to add up all the points I earned from the 7 books that I read. Oh my gosh, that was such a great show. Did I literally squeal with excitement and joy as soon as Nemo opened the show? Yes, I did. I really liked their new take on their song that won last year. It was kind of a remix a little bit. It was so good. And when they sang their new song, Unbelievable, I was just moved to tears. They were just singing their heart out. And quite honestly, Nemo is a poet. I love their songs because they're so meaningful. I also want to mention that I loved the collaboration between Baby Lasagna and Karia. They are both really popular contestants from previous years, and they are both over the top, crazy fun. They had this little battle between their songs, and it was fun, and their outfits were crazy. I'm going to see if I can find some photos so you can see what they looked like. But after their little fight between their 2 songs, they sang their new collab song called Eurodab, and it was just so fun. I think if you could distill Eurovision down to its most potent, a Eurovision crack, if you will, I think that's what that song was. It was just fun, over the top, theatrical, hilarious. It's just, oh, I loved it. I'm already going to add it to my Spotify playlist. So the hosts usually speak in multiple languages, and they are normally singers, and they will usually do some sort of interval act. But in this one, they had Hazel, a well-known comedian in Germany, and her awkward, funny presence was just so much fun. I really hope that future people will include comedians as part of their hosts, because I don't know, she just cracked me up, and I loved that. I thought that was great. She's obviously a bit new to Eurovision, and when she was trying to understand how the point breakdown worked, she just was like, okay, I figured it out. Points are good. Points are good. And the voting system can be a little bit complicated and possibly intimidating for a new person. But I really liked that freshness that she brought. And I am so, so excited that JJ won. He is my favorite contestant from Austria, and his song just sounded amazing and gorgeous. I didn't like the staging quite as much because it's what he did in his music video, and I was kind of hoping he would do something a little bit different, but I think it really worked with this song that he's singing and the story he's telling through the song. Yeah. So this year was quite a bit more unpredictable. I totally thought Sweden had it in the bag. All of the bookies and all of the people that I heard that were very into Eurovision, everybody said Sweden was going to win, and then they just didn't do as well as I thought they were going to do, and that's kind of sad, but I'm okay with it because the one I wanted to win won. A couple of surprises. I cannot believe the UK did as well as it did. When I watched their performance, I definitely thought they were in the bottom 3. They sounded bad. I will say for the grand final performance, they definitely did the sound editing better, and it was a lot more vocal forward, which I was glad about. But that meant when the UK trio didn't harmonize well, it was really noticeable. And honestly, whatever. They earned me 88 points for me reading a UK book. So let's add up all of the points I earned for the 7 countries that I read. Austria getting first place is going to give me the most amount of points, and I have earned 436. Sweden got 4th place and earned me 321 points. France scored 7th and earned me 230 points. Switzerland placed 10th and earned me 214 points. The Netherlands did much poorer than I was expecting. They ranked 12th and earned me 175 points. Germany placed 15th and earned me 151 points. And the UK placed 19th and earned me 88 points. So, add all that up, that is a total of 1,615 points. I set a goal of 1,600 points, which I felt was quite lofty, but the fact that I exceeded it is really, really cool. I'm really pleased with it. How do you feel about the results? Let's chat in the comments about the books I read or the contest or both. I look forward to talking with you. Thank you so much. Bye.